I'm Jordan Claridge, and together with Patrick Wallis, we teach EH482, The Origins of the World Economy. So this course surveys long-term processes of growth and development in pre-modern Europe and the wider world. It raises fundamental questions about the nature of pre-industrial societies and their economies. For example, were economic stagnation and poverty normal conditions in the pre-industrial world? Was growth an aberration? Did people live, nasty, brutish, and short lives? Or was perhaps the pre-industrial economy more modern than we typically think? There's definitely evidence for highly integrated markets, trade on a global scale, and significant advancements in technology. So we examine these questions and look at how economic trajectories changed across the globe in the pre-industrial world.
So what we're trying to understand are the patterns of economic change, of continuity, changes in power, changes in processes like empire, colonization, the expansion of trade that changed the world, really, in the period before the Industrial Revolution. Help us explain how the modern world came about, but from a very long-run perspective. The thing that I really enjoy about 482 is that this is a course which asks questions that I've been trying to understand and research for nearly 20 years. It's a moment where we get to think about how skills are passed between generations, how people acquired the abilities to make and trade in the past. And that's what I've been researching now for a very long time.
So the most exciting part of teaching this course for me is that it's in my research area. I'm a medievalist. I spend most of my days reading medieval manuscripts. And what that means for students is that I'm bringing my research experience and also the cutting edge of research in the pre-industrial world to my teaching every day, right? We're not simply rehashing what has been said in textbooks for 50 years, but we're looking at the most recent developments in the historiography and bringing that to this course.
I think if you want to understand why some parts of the world today are rich and some are poor, why some are powerful and why some are relatively weak, you can't just start in 1800. To understand the package of institutions, the movements of peoples, the processes by which authority and wealth were started to be accumulated in some regions, we need to look back. And we need to ask these questions of the very long run. And this allows us then to really test our ideas about what creates growth and what produces stagnation.
Also, a lot of the dynamics that we experience as a society have some kind of historical precedent. So I'm speaking to you today not from my office in the university, but from my home. Why is that? Because we've experienced a massive exogenous shock in the form of a global pandemic that has reordered and adjusted the way we live and the way we work. So we can look into the past to see how societies and economies have adjusted to other exogenous shocks, like, for example, the Black Death of 1348.